These last couple weeks have been some rough weeks for me. I'm going to tell you, had a friend who I thought was the dearest, closest friend in the world to me, and my biggest support person. Well, not quite. So a little stress and a little anxiety about that person letting me down. Huge. So I'm in the process of trying to actually be well, like I talk about in all my videos. And so, even with everything that's happening and even with bad weeks, I have to say I am blessed. I am. And that's the spiritual side of me that says thank you to God for all the things that I do have. And after saying that, I have to get right into what I'm talking about in this video, which is my disappointment with therapists. And I did a previous video about therapists. You can check it out. It was talking about how to find the best therapist. But I got a bone to pick with some therapists. And it's mostly about your dedication to this and how much you actually help people if they don't have money. That's my biggest concern, because as a person who has OCD and anxiety, you know, I've talked about it so many times. I don't understand how you can turn people away. How do you do that as a person who has signed up to help? So I'm going to tell you about a time when I was turned away. And I really needed the help really bad. And if you're a therapist, please pay attention and listen, because this is so important. So maybe a few years ago, I was having some horrible anxiety symptoms and horrible compulsions and rituals. I was hardly leaving the house. I was terrified. Okay? I called up some therapists, trying to get someone on the phone that could possibly help me. And this is the plight with people with OCD and anxiety. At least in my city and state, there's just not that many who are experienced in it, who really know how to handle the rituals, the compulsions, and what to do. So I had to do some research. And do you know how hard it is to do research and find a therapist when you're having rituals and compulsions that deal with being afraid to find a therapist? It was awful. Awful, I'm going to tell you. But I was doing it. And you know, with your rituals and OCD, I'm like, I don't like this person's name. I don't like the address on this person's office. Let me find another one. Well, I don't like this one and I don't like that one because this one bothers my OCD symptoms. And I was just looking like a straight crazy person trying to find a therapist. Okay? And it was really hard for me. And so when I did get people on the phone, I was so hoping that they could help me, because I'm like, you don't know how hard this is. And maybe therapists out there, you don't know how hard it is, especially if you have symptoms like I have. It was hard, okay? And I was getting people on the phone, but guess what? They charged so much money. I couldn't afford it. And these were people who claimed to be specializing in OCD and anxiety. So I really needed somebody like that. And I got several therapists on the phone, and they were just like, well, you know, I don't take your insurance. And if you can't pay this astronomical fee, can't help you. So I found a therapist. It was a man who actually lives here in Michigan, who has actually had OCD and anxiety, right? Has kind of conquered it, right? And he is a therapist. So I found him and I was like, oh my God, this is it. I had never found a therapist before who had OCD and anxiety and who had rituals and compulsions to deal with and had conquered it. Wow. He can help me, I thought. Oh my goodness. So I hurry up and get him on the phone. And luckily, everything added up. The address was okay, his name was okay, and everything else that bothered my OCD was okay. And the things that weren't okay, I thought, well, I can deal with that. So I get him on the phone, and I'm so excited because I'm like, this is it. I'm going to find somebody who really understands and really going to help me. No, ma'am. Didn't happen. You know why it didn't happen? Because I couldn't pay his astronomical fee. I think he was charging probably about $280 per session. Yeah. And if you're having a horrible mental health month, week, life, whatever, you're going to need multiple sessions, right? So how the heck am I going to afford this kind of money, right? How am I going to do that? Well, I couldn't. And I knew that he could probably help me because he said he had helped tons of other patients. And he was a person who did, what do you call it? When they make you face your fears, exposure therapy. So I thought that could really be good for me. So I talked to him, and then I talked to my sister, who was going to help me pay for it, and my mother, who was going to help me pay. And I thought, gosh, that's going to be a lot of money because I'm going to need a lot of sessions. So I scheduled an appointment with him because I was at my wit's end and I didn't know what else to do. I was having a horrible life right at that point. And I thought, well, if I could just get to him and I could just get some kind of hands-on therapy, I'll be okay. And maybe the money, I just can't think about it right now. And then I started thinking, this is going to be an astronomical amount of money put on credit cards over time, and I thought about it and I was like, I just can't do that to other people. I just can't. So I called the person up the next day and his wife answered the phone. I guess she worked with him. And I'm not going to say his name, but I told her about my situation and told her I'm not going to be able to keep the appointment because I just can't afford it. And I had poured my heart out to this person, to this therapist, and told him how deeply in need I was. Didn't matter. So my question out there to therapists is, I know you have student loans probably from school and all this debt and whatever else you might have. You have bills. So of course you want to get paid. But why the astronomical fee to help? Isn't that what you went to school for, to help? Did you just go to help like rich people, wealthy people who could pay like top dollar for their mental health? Or did you go to help people like me, the average person who is suffering and just can't afford it, but really needs the help? And I don't know what the answer is, because obviously I'm not a therapist. But I just tend to think that in this field that's a helping field, that if you've made it about money, and if you've made it about how much money you can get for treatment, wow. I don't know. I don't know about that. I have an issue with it as a person who is suffering and as a person who has looked many times for a good therapist. So maybe that's something you should start thinking about. And some of you won't care. I know, because I've talked to many therapists who just don't give a doggone. They want their fee. That's what they want. They want their fee. They want to be able to live their lifestyle. They want to be able to whatever. I mean, you have some therapists who are asking top dollar. And there are people who can pay it. They can get the help because guess what? They're wealthy and they're rich. But what about you and me, the people who we're just working for a living and paying our bills too, but we're not well. And we really need the specialized care that we can't get just anywhere. So I challenge therapists, and if you are a therapist, leave me a comment below. If you're a therapist who does sliding scale fee to help people, and maybe I could shout you out, and you specialize in OCD and anxiety, that's even better. Please leave a comment, subscribe. I'm going to be talking about this more because it's something that's so important to me. It's something that has happened to me. It's something that is so real. And it's such a sad thing because there are people who are suffering right now. And you know what? there's going to be nobody to help them, because when you try to go look for a therapist, it's so hard in this city that I live in. So, not sure what else to do. It's just a rant that I had to get off because I've been thinking about it for a long time. And I just wanted to put it out there to the mental health universe. Be good to yourself, everybody. No matter what is happening, no matter your symptoms, no matter how bad of a week you are having, remember, you got to be good to yourself. You got to. Support your body. Try to eat well. Try to exercise. Try to do something for yourself, to support yourself. You deserve it. And if you are a therapist out there, stop charging so doggone much. And start helping people. Jeez, oh Pete's. Anyway, have a good day, everybody. Talk to you next time. Be good to yourself and be good to others. Bye.